What is up? What is up? What is up, good people? Good people, good people. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the podcast. Big L PhD, Big L PhD. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I was on vacation, and while I was on vacation, I was in a nice warm spot, so I trimmed my beard down. But don't worry, it will be coming back. I will be getting back the pointed goatee there. And I'm really getting white there, huh? So I want to thank a brother for putting up this post here, asking for requesting this, and it was already on my to-do list, and here I am. I'm going to talk about it right now. How to stop caring, or why do I care so much about what others think? And it's really an important topic. And thank the brother for asking that question, because it's a struggle for people. It's a struggle for many of us. Many of us get into trouble. Many of us go down the wrong hole. Many of us get into financial and even sometimes criminal trouble because we care about what other people think, and because we're trying to impress them. So let me give the 2 cents as to why we care. It's actually a good thing that we do care, because it shows that you're not a narcissist, a sociopath, or a psychopath, right? So take good comfort in knowing that if you care about what other people think, and you have sympathy or empathy for their feelings, and you take their thoughts and considerations, that it is actually a good thing that you actually do that. So pat yourself on the back. Know that you don't have any type of DSM-5 or wherever number they're up to now, issues or problems. So we care because it's built into us on an evolutionary basis. Here's what I mean by that. Whether you're calling evolution God, or you believe in God, or whatever, I'm saying that it's been pre-programmed into us. I'm going to take the evolutionary route because of evolution, because of, when we evolved and whatever, from that particular standpoint, we were, roving bands of nomads who were going from place to place, cave to cave, from prairie to prairie, looking for grasslands that would feed us, our roving bands of 30 to 40 people, right? And we had to establish different protocols for how the society would get along. And I'm saying this whether you're religious or not, it really doesn't matter. It's really irrelevant. But the point is that we develop these types of caring, empathy type of feelings, because we had to care what the other person thought, what other people within the group and within our society thought, right? Within our culture thought, right? So it mattered if you went out into the bushes, right? Because if you came back, you were bit by a snake and or kidnapped by a rival band or group, or if you were attacked by a saber-toothed tiger or whatever, that mattered, because that was one less person to do the hunting and gathering and be a part of the hunting party or whatever. So it mattered where you were and what you were doing. And so you had to develop this empathy and say, I care about what you're doing. I'm concerned about where you are, where you're going, and all that. If you came back with some spider bite, or you came back with fleas and ticks and all this stuff, right? It mattered where you went. It mattered who you interacted with. Did you meet another roving band, a roving band of people? Are they going to come and attack us, right? And all this stuff, right? So that's evolutionarily speaking, that's why we care. Fast forward to the modern era, and particularly in Western capitalistic societies, where it's impressed upon us to be selfish, to be impressed upon us not to have the community, but to be more insular and isolationist in our thinking, right? The nuclear family, if you will, right? It's just me and mine, and we're going to protect our own, right? So I know that there's a push to get to more community-based things, and that's a conversation for another day. But that's why you care. So I want to break that down first, as to why you care about, where it comes from and what we can do about it. Because if we don't know, then we can't do anything about it. So what you have to do in this modern day society, in order to defeat this pre-programming that we have in order to survive in this society. Because let's be honest, unless you want to move to a more collectivist social environment, maybe in Africa or someplace in Asia or some other community, you're going to live in a capitalistic society that says that you shall not care about what your neighbor is doing to a certain extent. Now, this comes into competition, if you will, with our own programming concerning our family values, right? Because many times family members, and particularly parents, brothers and sisters, though nuclear family, will say, you have a debt to me because I raised you. You have a debt to me because, I was a member of the church for a long time, and they used to play on that. Like, listen, man, we prayed for you when you were sick. You owe us some money. These are literal conversations that came out of people's mouths. So what you have to develop is this thick skin. You have to develop thick skin to say and to acknowledge that, my service, my indebtedness to you, it has a limit. And I do not need to set myself on fire to keep you warm. I do not need to set myself on fire to keep you warm. I am appreciative of all that you've done for me my whole life, and where I can pay you back and where I can be a source and a resource to you, I will be. But that does not mean that I have to loan you money every time you ask for it. It does not mean that I need to be at your beck and call. It does not mean that I need to do everything that you say and jump. When you say jump, and my response is not going to be how high. It doesn't mean that. And you have to develop that thick skin. And part of the ways of developing that thick skin is to develop your own sense of autonomy. Many times people care about what other people think because they really aren't free from the mental bondage, the mental shackles that parents and other individuals put on you, like I just demonstrated. And you're not your own person from a financial standpoint. That is huge. That is huge. In my talks, I'm gonna reference church, the black church, because that's where I come from, and I'm going to reference, and not that I'm religious anymore, I make that very clear in other videos, but I'm going to reference it, and I'm also going to reference law enforcement. So here I'm going to reference church. And when I was about 20 years old, we went to Chicago, Illinois, to a big church gathering that was there, and the preacher said something that 30 years later I still remember. And he said, impress you. He's part of his message that he's preaching. He said, impress you. And for what? You don't pay my rent. You don't pay my light bill. You don't pay my car note. You don't pay anything. You don't buy my food. You don't buy my groceries. Why am I trying to impress you? You are trying to impress, I submit that you are trying to impress other people because you are not financially independent from them. It could be one of the reasons. So you should get financially, educationally, or academically free from everyone else. This is part of the Western experience, like it or hate it. What it is. My grandmother, my aunt used to tell me, once you get your education, and they were just talking about high school education. Of course, they did want me to go to college. Once you get your education, no one can ever take it away from you. And that's a mentality that you have to develop. That once I get this level of education, no one can ever take it away from me. And so therefore you won't feel the need to impress other people. Part of that impressing of other people is even sometimes family and friends, right? We become slaves, again, in this capitalistic society of name brand stuff, right? These Yankee caps and these shirts and all this stuff, right? Become slaves to all that, right? I recognize it. We become slaves to that. And when you travel to other places, I've been to Europe and I've been to other places, and they're not as half as bougie or as name brand driven as we are in the West, in the United States. In the United States, they just aren't. Anybody who's ever been to Paris, you walk around Paris and you'll see that. We think of all this stuff, but you walk around just the streets of Paris, these people ain't wearing that stuff. They're not wearing it. So these are just some of the ideas that I have as to why we care. So why we care and what you can do about it. Become financially independent. Develop a mindset that says, I'm my own person. I don't have to keep you warm, and it's not going to be easy. You have to break the mental shackles that are being placed upon you. You have to understand the manipulation tactics that people are going to use. Understand that you are being manipulated. Understand that they're using these different tactics to say, you owe me. I watched your children. I watched you grow up. I fed you. I took you in when you didn't have anything. You owe me. And you should owe me. You should lend me some money. You should loan me your car. You should let me move in with you for a few weeks. All this type of stuff, right? And again, it's combating your sensibilities, your good-hearted nature of being a caring, empathetic, non-manipulative type of person. That's what they're playing on. So I really wanted to kind of go there with that. I'm looking at some notes here. Don't let other people, it's okay. I want to say a little bit more that it's okay to be more selfish. Not selfish, but more selfish, because you are your own person. You have your own life. You have your own goals, dreams, objectives, self-esteem, self-autonomy. You have that. And you should not, must not become taken, held hostage by other people who would wish to put you in some type of mental slavery, mental bondage, that you feel that you have to do things a certain way. You have to marry a certain type of person. You have to vote a certain type of way. You have to go to a certain type of school. You have to love a certain type of way. You have to be faithful and loyal to this type of person. You have to develop that mental toughness in order not to do it. And it's going to be a struggle. You have to work on it every day. You have to remind yourself. You just set reminders, write it on the refrigerator, set your alarm by it, put it on in your car, on the steering wheel of your car. Today's mine. Love myself more than I love other people. Not saying that you should be exclusive. Not saying you should never hurt anyone. Not saying you should never help anyone else. You should definitely help people when you have the means, but you should not have to feel the obligation to wake yourself up every day at 2 a.m. to cater to somebody else's needs. Everybody else has their own desires. Everybody else has their own goals. And many times the very people that we would move out of our way, we would move mountains for, won't even lift a finger for us. Many times the people that we would move mountains for won't lift a finger for us. And so that is something you really need to really kind of focus on. Let me take a look at some more notes here that I wrote down, because I wanted to really be thorough with this. Yeah. And people, they're ultimately going to respect your boundaries, right? Don't let people play in your guilt, and don't let people play in your guilt. And ultimately, they're going to respect your boundaries. You set the boundaries. Hard boundaries. It's going to be tough for you. Your heart's going to beat fast when you're doing it, because you never said no. You never denied anyone access. You never turned anybody down for money. And your heart's going to beat fast. You're going to get the sweats, and you're going to be feeling uncomfortable, and it's going to be uncomfortable around Christmas time and Thanksgiving and other holidays and birthdays and all this stuff, right? But you have to set the boundary for yourself. And eventually they're going to come to respect the boundaries. Right? Eventually, they're going to come to respect the boundaries. Understand that. They're going to come to respect the boundaries that you set. So set the boundaries. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. You might have to go home and really kind of suck it up and kind of worry about what other people are thinking about. But ultimately, you have to be true to yourself, to your goals, to your dreams, to your aspirations, to your own bank account, to your own livelihood. You should never let anybody move in with you, right? So these are just some of the tactics, and watch out for the manipulation tactics that people use. These are just some of the methods as to, how you can become your own person. Stop caring so much. And it's not a bad thing that you care, right? So don't beat yourself up because you care. Do not beat yourself up because you care. Do not beat yourself up because you care. It's a good thing. It shows you have empathy. It shows that you're a good-hearted, good-natured type of person. But you have to control that, because the people who don't control that will be taken advantage of. They will empty out their bank accounts, and I've seen it happen. They will empty out their bank accounts. Growing up in church, again, that is a manipulative environment. It can be a very manipulative environment. And I know people who would not would give their rent money, give their light bill money, give their, college savings money, give all this stuff to these individuals who are driving around in luxury cars and taking first class airplanes if they did not have their own jets. So you have to become more selfish, not selfish, but more selfish, to think about yourself, your family first, yourself, your education, your career first, and you cannot fall for that. So I hope I said something today that really gives you pause and really gives you something to reflect upon, and really helps you develop the self-esteem and the self-will and the self-empowerment, because other people are not going to empower you in this. Other people are not going to empower you about this, particularly those who count on you, who look for you to be their save-em, their Captain Save-em. They're not going to admonish and advise you these types of things. They're going to want you to continue to be that go-to person that they can depend on, right? But I'm trying to get you to be the best version of yourself, to be strong, independent, male or female, whoever you are, be the best version of yourself, and understand when you're being taken advantage of and you're not getting anything reciprocated from your end. So I hope that I said something today. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions. Did I miss anything? If you got anything else you want me to talk about, I will certainly talk about it. Just take one. I think I got everything that I wrote down from the notes here. So, you have to learn to say no. You have to learn to say no, and that is an essential process. And it's going to hurt it's going to hurt mentally. It's going to be a tough fight mentally. Your heart's going to beat fast. You're going to sweat. You're going to second guess yourself. But you have to. Part of this journey is standing 10 toes down on what you want and what you believe to be the right thing. And don't fall for the manipulation tactics. Oh, you owe me. I see how it is. I see you. I got you. I see how you get down. Don't fall for that type of thing. Particularly when you know that you've helped these people in the past and you don't get anything for it, any type of reciprocating reward, or they keep coming to you all the time. Right? Keep coming to you all the time. So that's it. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions. Hit me up in the comments. If you made it this far through the video, please hit that rate, subscribe, and share button. Please hit that rate, subscribe, and share button. Hit the thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions. Much love and peace, everyone.